Welcome to Public Affairs. Once again, we have a program analyzing all the political developments for this 2016 U.S. presidential elections. And of course, we bring you the most credible people who are community leaders and can speak about opinions, what they feel, and what they hear from the community. Today we have MARISSA ACIERTO, who is a very well-known, prestigious community leader representing San Diego. But I'd like her to tell you a little bit more about her. Welcome to Public Affairs, MARISSA ACIERTO. And please tell our listeners and our viewers about the things that you've done in the community.
Thank you, Awee, for actually calling me. I really appreciate that. I just wanted to let everybody know that Awee's been really a great person, and she's really out there to outreach in the community, which is really good too. My name is MARISSA ACIERTO, and like Awee had indicated, I'm a community organizer here in San Diego. I basically engage in multicultural communities, particularly in celebrating annual cultural festivals. Right now, I'm currently working for a research and development company, which is a biotechnology company, and I was a former college professor in subject matters such as anatomy, pharmacology, physiology, and physics. I've also engaged in wireless technology as an entrepreneur, which I specialized in, and I am currently a freelance writer. What I do here in San Diego is I basically help conduct political meet and greets and debates for community to be engaged in and to understand what is going on firsthand with candidates and public officials representing taxpayers and all.
Mm-hmm. It's great. You are really in touch with the community. That's why we called you. And what's interesting is that many things are happening. First and foremost, is the community excited about the U.S. presidential elections, and what do they think about the recent developments with the Republican Party, that now we have a presumptive presidential nominee, Mr. Donald Trump?
Yes, actually, in the beginning, for the GOP as a whole in the San Diego community, of course, there's a lot of differences of opinion in the GOP. In the party itself, I mean, although it's kind of like hidden in the background, I mean, it seemed to me that they were supporting more of Ted Cruz on that end for the GOP side. However, in the API community, I have seen more engagement, especially in the GOP side for Trump. And I think it's because we're so close to the border that it has nothing to do with the Latinos that we don't want them to come here and so forth. It is just about the issue about basically citizenship to protect on that end and to make sure that everybody comes here legally, not illegally.
Mm-hmm. So what does the community feel about the issue of immigration when he talks about building a wall?
That's a really touchy subject because, I live down south and, of course, there's more Democrats down within our area vicinity, especially in San Diego, especially when it comes down from like the 8 freeway going down to San Ysidro. It is a lot more Democrats within that community area. So it's really difficult because, of course, especially in San Diego, of course, a wall is definitely a need in many sense because we, of course, many people here have came in as immigrants, but they hopefully came in legally. Now the perspective, of course, it being illegal. Unfortunately, we live in an area where people can just go ahead and cross wherever they want to cross, and it takes away a lot of the jobs and so forth. So there's a lot of things to prospectively think about. The wall definitely. I've heard a lot of people really wanting the wall to be available, but I believe that the majority of the Latino community really don't want it in that sense, especially in the Democratic side. There are some in the Latino side that are, of course, that are in the conservative value that they also kind of like kind of weary as well. So it is a very sensitive matter because we're so close to the border. And of course, it's just like in any other communities, if you're in that particular country and you're within that area vicinity, of course you want to protect your people. It is a natural instinct, you know what I mean?
And what does the community feel about the favorable points for Mr. Donald Trump, and what are the unfavorable comments about him?
Like again, I think the favorable thing that that people are really waking up and rising is because when he said build that wall. I think that was the first thing that really rocked a lot of people, and about the political correctness that he had kind of like spelled it out in so many words, and so many people were like headless chickens, going left and right. Because there wasn't something like that was so pronounced on that end, because everybody's so nice, and so, but the world's changing. Sometimes the world's not so nice anymore. So people have to kind of like take it in grain of salt on that end. So on that end, of course, it's hard because basically it's hard to tone him down because that's just the way he is. Obviously, he's been noted left and right from his spouse and so forth. How he should conduct himself, but he's going to do what he needs to do. As far as his negative, like I guess I had mentioned that about that. He may have to tone it down in that sense because, especially with women and with the wall and so forth, and also the other stuff that he kind of mentions here and there that that could be kind of harsh for the other communities as well. But again, in the perspective, it's still being. But I believe that everybody knows that it needs to be there, but it's just I guess the way it's being said.
Mm-hmm. Now, what can you say about the women's vote in San Diego? What have you been hearing?
I just wanted to share with you that there are like independents that are actually supporting Trump. That is really, they're really getting engaged. They really like the fact of what he's doing. But then there are also some independents here in San Diego that are also supporting Hillary. And Bernie Sanders is still very, very popular among the teen votes, especially down here. He's basically waking up a lot of the teens out there, just like how Obama had done to the young kids of today. So that I can see kind of a level out on that end with Bernie, and basically like Trump. I think that right now it's a Trump and a Hillary ticket. Is that correct?